Web services that use REST-style interfaces are becoming increasingly popular. We sometimes encounter situations where a mix of REST and SOAP-based web services are used within a single project. In this preview of CapeClear 7.5, I'm going to show you the enhancements we've made to the BPEL engine and tools to handle this scenario. I'm assuming you're already familiar with our BPEL tools and engine, so I'm just going to update an existing BPEL process to make use of a REST-style service. Let's start by taking a look at the service that I'm going to use. It's available at Yahoo. It allows you to search for businesses by category and within a given zip code. Here you see a web page describing how to use the service. Of course, for those of us coming from WS Star land, this means learning to live without WSDL. Instead, we get an example URL that can be used to invoke the service. You can see the parameters included in the URL. Clicking on the link in a browser is enough to invoke on the service, and you can see the XML that is returned. Each business is described, including its address and the rating that Yahoo users have given it. Yahoo also provides an XML schema that describes the XML returned. This will be very useful when it comes to describing the service for our BPEL engine. So using these two pieces of information, the example URL and the XML schema, I will now update a BPEL process to make use of this service. I'm going to take a copy of the sample URL to save me typing it in again. I'll be using it shortly. Here's the BPEL process I'm going to modify. It's called Search for the Best. It will use the Yahoo service, but only return a single search result, the one with the highest rating. If BPEL is going to invoke on the REST-style service, it needs a description of it. We've added a new wizard to the BPEL Partner Viewer that allows you to quickly describe the REST-style services that you want to use. On the first panel, I enter a name for the partner, and then I paste in the sample URL from Yahoo's web page. The wizard will analyze the URL to see what the parameters to the service are. On the second panel, I can specify the XML schema for the response XML. Again, I can paste in the link provided on the Yahoo web page. The last panel allows me to preview the resulting description of the service and modify it if necessary. Here you can see that the local search operation has 4 input parameters and returns an XML element called ResultSet. Once I click Finish, my BPEL process has a new partner ready to be invoked on. I use this partner in exactly the same way as I use a SOAP-based web service. I can drag and drop an operation onto the BPEL editor in order to create an invoke activity. Then I initialize the input parameters using an assign activity. The query and zip code are provided as parameters to the BPEL process itself. I will use fixed values for the application ID and number of results to query for. Then I copy the response from Yahoo service into the response message for my BPEL process. To select the result with the highest ranking, I use an XPath predicate I've prepared earlier. This isn't an XPath tutorial, so I won't go into that now, but the expression should be familiar to anyone who's used XPath to select a single value from a set of values. Now I can deploy the process and test it using the web service tester. Let's look for a pizza restaurant. And there you have it. Patsy's Chicago Pizza is the best pizza restaurant in Palo Alto, with an average rating of 4.5. As you would expect, you can view the process instance in the Orchestration Manager. The URL used to invoke the service is displayed here. The XML returned is also displayed. There's a few other features in 7.5 that will help you in this scenario. REST-style services come in many shapes and sizes. The wizard I've just shown you allows you to use a variety of ways to encode the input parameters, either in the URL itself or in the contents of a HTTP post. All the HTTP verbs you would expect are also supported. Another feature is the ability of the BPEL engine to automatically retry invocations on such services. If the service becomes temporarily unavailable, rather than report an error immediately, you might want the connection to be retried a number of times. The BPEL engine can now do this for you without the need for you to write any fault handling code. Of course, all of this means you can now mix SOAP and REST-style services easily within the same business process. If you thought BPEL was just for WS*, then you haven't seen CapeClear 7.5. I'm James Pasley, the CTO for CapeClear Software, and thanks for listening.